there, Wildcats, and welcome to your one-stop shop for everything happening at Lincoln Middle School. You've officially tuned in to episode 15 of the Lincoln Wildcast. Get ready to pounce on the latest headlines from our news desk because we're here to keep you in the know. But that's not all. We've got something for everyone in the pack. In today's show, we'll have a special What's Trending as Chloe and Lily give you a sneak peek into a movie they are creating. Vanilla and Janessa will bring you another Book of the Week. Your knees will be completely slapped in this week's Knee Slappers. Wildcat Sports Center will bring you an interview with LMS girls basketball coach and athletic director, Coach Loger. Plus, it's another round of LMS Rizz, Wildcat IQ, and Greek Word of the Week. Lastly, we will hear again from our assistant principal, Mr. Mike Donato. From the roar of the crowd at the game to the quiet of the library, we're here to bring you the stories that matter most. So let's get this show on the road by kicking over to our Wildcat Sports Center team to talk with Coach Loger.
Welcome to this week's Sports Center segment. Today we will be interviewing the girls basketball coach and LMS athletic director, Mrs. Loger.
To start off, tell us about your background with coaching LMS basketball.
I have been the Lincoln girls basketball coach ever since we have existed as Lincoln Middle. Prior to that, I was the Lumberport girls basketball coach. I started out as an assistant basketball coach, and I've been the head coach for, I think now going on 17 years maybe. It's been a long time.
Next, do you think you guys have improved since last season, and in what ways?
Every year we improve in different aspects. It depends on the group of girls. It depends on the individual talent. The girls progress every year, and they develop different techniques and strategies and mental confidence every year and throughout the season. But it just kind of depends on who's playing where and what position they're playing and how they develop. But yes, as far as the individual improvements, there's been quite a bit of individual improvements, and it's quite impressive for some of the girls to see how much they've improved just over the beginning of the season or since last season or even over the summer.
Next, what do you think is your guys' biggest advantage on the court?
It depends on who we're playing. It depends on the strategy at hand. Sometimes our biggest impact would be our big inside. We have some height to us, so sometimes we can get the ball inside. If we can't make that work, sometimes we have that nice outside shot. Defensively, we're pretty strong. I think that one of our advantages is our defense and our turnover ratio. Just being able to score off of a steal would be an advantage that we have. But I think that right now our advantage is more of our defensive aspect. But it depends on who we're playing, where our advantage is and where we want to key in to get our points, whether that's inside, outside, or off of steals or off of our transition. So it just kind of depends on who we're playing.
Lastly, how does your offense and defense strategy change based on what team you're playing?
Yeah, like I said, it just kind of depends on who we're playing. I try to scout and get info from film and from other coaches and people. Just get some scouting reports and find out who we're playing, where their talents lie, and what we need to kind of key in on. So it depends. So if we have a really fast paced group that has a lot of great ball handlers, so we just kind of need to change it up a little bit defensively. Maybe we won't press. Maybe if they have some weak ball handling, maybe we will press. Right now we tend to press quite a bit to get those turnovers, but and then offensively depends on if they're tall. Maybe we'll go from the outside in our shooting. If they're a little shorter than us, that we have the height advantage, we'll look to dump it inside. So it just kind of depends. Offensively, defensively, our strategies depend on who we're playing and their skill and their technique and if we've played them before. So if we've played them before, we might change some things up so we don't do the same things over and over again, so they can't predict what we're going to do.
Thank you, Mrs. Loger, for joining us on our interview today. This upcoming week, we have 2 home games on Tuesday and Thursday against Bridgeport and Barronville.
Thank you for joining us on the podcast. This is our official sign out with Paisley,
Addie, and Bailey signing out.
Next, we will go over to Chloe and Lily on what's trending, and Janessa and Fanula for Book of the Week.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the last episode of
What's Trending. This week we're doing something a little bit more special. This week we are talking about our movie and the band Arctic Monkeys.
So our movie is called Knock Knock You're Next, and it's about two girls named Blair, played by Lily, and Danny, played by me, Chloe, being chased by a killer in a caution tape mask.
As Blair and Danny tell people about the killer chasing them and targeting them, each person they tell, well, you know what.
We're planning on having it finished by summer, weather permitting.
There are 3 super intense chase scenes and obviously a little gore. I mean, come on, it is a slasher after all.
In the comments, tell us what you're most excited about and if you'd want to watch it.
Now onto the band Arctic Monkeys.
The English rock band Arctic Monkeys formed in 2002. Their breakout single, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor, made them popular. Soon, their music got to social media, and now their band is super well known. Their most popular song is Do I Wanna Know.
My favorite song by them is Are You Mine. I think it's really good.
My favorite song by them is Teddy Picker from their album Best Worst Nightmare.
This is Chloe and Lily signing out.
That's right, bye!
Welcome to the final installment of Book of the Week.
Wait, is this our last time doing this?
Sad, isn't it? Now tell us, what's the final book of the week?
Our final book is part of the Chronicles of Narnia series. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe follows the 4 Pevensie siblings, Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, who are evacuated during World War II and discover the world of Narnia through a wardrobe. Narnia is a land under eternal winter, ruled by the evil White Witch, ultimately helping the great lion Aslan defeat her and fulfill the prophecy and become kings and queens of Narnia's golden age.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a C.S. Lewis classic fantasy. The book has sold over 100 to 120 million copies worldwide. It is estimated to be translated to 47 different languages. You can watch the movie on Disney+. It has been 10 years since the movie was released. The book was released October 16th, 1950.
Now that we give you the details and the plot, it's time to rate it.
I would give this book a 10 out of 10. I love the plot of the book and how the movie follows it. What about you?
I would also rate it 10 out of 10. I love the plot in the book and how the movie follows it.
Well, that's it for our Book of the Week.
Up next, we will go over to Knee Slappers for your weekly dose of dad jokes and fun facts.
Alright, enough serious talk. It's time for the segment that guarantees you a chuckle or at least a light high five. Get ready for Knee Slappers.
Why did the snowman want a divorce?
Why?
His wife thought he was too cold.
How does a penguin build its house?
How?
It glues it together.
Fun fact, despite being covered in ice, Antarctica receives very little precipitation, making it the largest desert on Earth.
That's cool. Well, this is all for Knee Slappers. We've got to say goodbye, which is funny because most people say goodbye to us after the first joke.
Gracie,
Bradley,
Layla,
signing off.
Next, let's go to the Wildcast Rizzlers for the next installment of LMS Rizz, plus Fanula and Jacob for our final Greek word of the week.
Hello, fellow Rizzlers. Welcome back. Sadly, Jerome wasn't enough of a bumpkin. He forgot his belt buckle. They broke up. Let's hear from Jerome. How are you taking it, man?
it's just as bad as a cold can of corn.
Oh, Jerome. Oh, sweet, gullible Jerome. It's okay. We can give you pickup lines to get your precious lady back.
I've heard he's got a new girl. Ooh. Yeah, she's fine, and she likes city boys.
Here's some pickup lines for your new girl.
Are we in town square? Because everything is exciting when you're around.
Are you Wi-Fi? Because I feel a connection.
That was pretty good.
Not as good as this. Are you Mariah Carey song? Because all I want for Christmas is you. That was the one.
Guys, I have sad news.
What is it?
There's another breakup.
You and...
No! We're breaking up with the podcast.
No.
Bye, everyone. We're over. We'll never get over y'all. Thank you guys for listening.
Welcome back to Learning Greek, where I give you a Greek word a week.
This week is a special Christmas edition with a Greek tradition.
But wait, this is our last Learning Greek segment?
Oh no, I forgot about that.
Yeah, can we go on now?
Way to be sensitive, Janessa.
Whatever, Fanola.
Anyway, this week's word or words is Kala Christouyana. It means Christmas. Janessa, why don't you try to pronounce it?
Kala Hisko. Heck no, I give up.
Nice try, Janessa.
Time for our Greek Christmas tradition. During Christmas time, a cookie called melimakarona is baked. There's even a story behind the cookie.
Wait, so what's the story?
Yeah, you gotta tell us now.
The cookie actually used to be a bread.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was actually a mercy meal in funeral rites. It was called makaria, but then they added honey, and now we have the cookie.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Anyway, that was the last episode of Learning Greek.
Bye.
Next, we're going to kick it over to our Wildcast interview team with a special guest making his second appearance on the Wildcast, LMS Assistant Principal, Mr. Mike Donato.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our very last interview segment. Today we are going to be interviewing Mr. Donato, who is our vice principal.
What inspired you to pursue a career in educational and leadership?
Well, I was at a point in my teaching career that I felt I was ready for a change and a different challenge. I had taught about 15 years in health and physical education and loved every minute of it. But I knew that once I pursued my second master's and was looking through, just something change and something different, I knew that working in administration would be something that'd be appealing to me at some point. It just didn't know when. And they always tell you when you train in that field that you never know when the opportunity is going to come up, and you'll just know. And then, it was almost a bit of a family business as well, because my dad worked in administration for almost the entirety of his 40-year education career. So it was always something I kind of kept on the back burner when I decided to go into education. So when I finally got to the point I was ready, I took my necessary classes and testing and dove right in.
What do you consider your biggest strengths as a vice principal?
Well, I kind of lean back on the advice my dad gave me. My dad always said that, we have two ears for a reason. That means we should listen twice as much more than we speak. So part of my strengths, I believe, is that I just tend to really be a good listener, just whether it's staff or students or my fellow personnel in the office, whatever it is. Like a lot of times people aren't necessarily looking for solutions to their problems all the time. They just want someone to make sure their voice is heard. And that's what I really feel like I do best. I don't always have to go in and correct things or always feel like I have to put my stamp on something. When I interviewed for this job, I told Mrs. Scott, I said, what I'm going to bring to the table is what you guys do so well. Is like, I'm not looking to change anything. I don't need to leave a legacy with anything in my professional career. That's not my motivation. What you guys do works so well and have a great system here that my goal and my job is to support it. So part of it is also just knowing your role, knowing how you can be best supportive to reach the goals of the school. And like I said, the bulk of this job really is just being a good listener and just being that platform that your staff and your students know that this is a safe space that you can go talk to. Your voice is going to get heard. And if there isn't a concern that needs addressed, I always feel like I do whatever I can to do that. And the other big strength too, and especially in this job, is knowing that you don't always have the answer. It's admitting that you don't know everything. You're not going to be able to fix the problems right on the first day. It takes a little bit of patience and understanding, and there's a lot of learning that goes into that. So it's reaching out to the people that have been there before, listening to the veteran administrators and the bosses that I have downtown, and really just trying to make sure you're making the best decisions for the school.
How do your past roles influence the way you lead today?
Well, as you guys know, I spent a huge portion of my life working as a coach. I was a head coach for almost 20 years at various levels, middle school, high school, club soccer through the state of West Virginia. And honestly, the parallels between that and working in administration are very, very similar. You're presented with different challenges and problems every day. You have to be organized. You have to have your day planned out. You have to know what's going on in all places. You have to make sure you're checking in. When I was a coach, I always made sure I checked in on my student athletes to make sure they were going to class, that their grades were up, that they were staying out of trouble. I checked in with my assistant coaches when we were in season to make sure our practices were planned out, prepping for our game schedules, off season, making sure workouts and flex days were organized and planned out with my students, my student athletes and my staff. Working as a principal is almost exactly the same, except now you're replacing a soccer ball with, school stuff, I guess would be the best way to put it. So it's just making sure that my schedule's organized. I'm on top of what I need to be doing as far as where I need to be. If I have meetings, if I have phone calls I have to make, whatever it is that I have to do. And then, of course, the most important part in either of those from past experience is being being able to take that plan and throw it out the window, because you just never know if something's going to come up that requires your attention in the here and now, and then it has to be taken care of in that immediate moment. And then you have to know is, okay, even though I had planned this today, this comes up and this takes priority, and you have to have that flexibility.
How has your career evolved since you first started?
It's a lot different in administration. It's very humbling because, as a teacher, it's one of those deals where, think about this in a classroom. If you guys are sitting in a classroom, you're thinking, if a teacher makes a decision in a certain way, it's like, man, I wouldn't do that. If I was in their shoes, this is how I would do it. You all have. I know you have, because I did the same thing when I was a student, when I was an athlete, when I played sports. I was like, well, why would my coach do this? This doesn't make any sense. So then now that shoe's on the other foot when you are in that leadership role, and there's a lot of humbling and understanding. So you kind of go in with an idea of that you want to do things different, you want to shake things up, and then you kind of realize and understand, well, okay, well, maybe there's a certain way things are done. There's a lot more logistics to this job than just really just showing up and kind of doing what you want. You do have that freedom to kind of run your school the way that you feel like you need to run it, but there's also a lot of rules and regulations that go with that. So that was kind of that humbling experience at first. In your first couple of days, at least in my experience, when I took my first administrative job, like the school year had already started. I started in October 3 years ago. And, the school, you didn't have that summer to go to trainings, go to meetings, kind of prepare yourself mentally for what's going to come your first day working as an administrator. I showed up, we had that, it was the weekend of Martin Luther King Day. So that Monday we had a professional development day. I show up on that Monday, get settled in, find my office, kind of get my list of duties. And then Tuesday, there's 1,000+ students in there and 80+ staff members that are expecting me to be able to lead. So there was no, here, we're going to just kind of ease you into it. It was, you're hitting the ground running. I was teaching at a school on Friday. That following Tuesday, I was an assistant principal. So it was just a very quick 3-day turnaround. So the transition here has been very nice because I had an additional year at my old school. This is my second year here. So that has been a really big help in knowing that, okay, now I know what to expect, especially coming somewhere new. And that has really been a good transition for that.
What would you do differently if you were starting your career today?
Honestly, nothing. I'm one of these firm believers in, things happen for a reason. We make decisions and do things that affect things down the road. So the way things are at in my life right now, both professionally and personally, I wouldn't want to risk change. Because, with the butterfly effect, if you change one little thing, who knows what's going to affect things 30 days down the road, a year down the road, 5 years down the road. And I wouldn't want to take that risk. I really wouldn't. Every mistake that I've made, everything that I've done wrong in my personal and professional career has taught me a lesson. And that life lesson is invaluable because that means I learned from it. I adjusted. I did something different. It could be as simple as making a mistake on a form or paperwork that I have to do here at the office or, anything. So when you make mistakes, that's what I preach as a teacher. It's what I preach to my kids at home. When I coached all those years, mistakes are valuable lessons we learn from. So I don't want to change that because I'm a better person for that mistake. And I'm going to make more mistakes down the road as a parent, as an administrator, as a husband. I know that's going to happen. The day is still early. I may make plenty more before the day is done. And I'm going to learn something from that, and I'm going to be a better person for it.
Do you have any last final thoughts or comments?
Nah, just, if anybody's interested in pursuing this type of career, like I said, education is always a great field to go into. It wasn't necessarily my first choice in a career, but I'm glad that's where I ended up. Because again, like I told you a second ago, any mistakes we made, decisions we make always impact our future. We don't always see it in the immediate, but it always does. So the way things have turned out, being here with you guys in this school and this staff and this community has been fantastic. So any decision I've made has led me here, and I've got no complaints about that. But just note that the last thing I would leave with as far as what we do as an assistant principal, particularly in what I do, people always feel like when they get called down to my office, it's always a bad thing. It's not necessarily always a bad thing. As an administrator, yes, discipline is part of what I do, but I also help with academic side of things, with scheduling, questions about your attendance, or if you're struggling in a class, it's a place where you can go ask for help and assistance. Myself and Mr. Hawk and Mrs. Scott, we're all there to help you guys as much as anybody else in this building, as all the other adults. So yeah, if I call you down, there's a chance you may have done something wrong. And like I said earlier, we're going to learn from it. It's okay. But note that, we're also here to help you out as well. So anything that you got going on you need some assistance with, I'll be happy to help out any way I can. Even if it's just an ear to listen or to get you pointed in the right direction, just know I'm here to help you.
Thank you, Mr. Donato, for coming in again.
Thanks for listening to episode 15 of the Lincoln Wildcast. Stay wild, and we'll catch you next time.